Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul.
And we are SP Film Viewers.
So, here we are for the third instalment of Halloween month of 2020.
Can't wait until it's over and we've got something light-hearted. We're in our new home and it's a cosy little cottage. And I feel safe and secure. And then Paul keeps putting on these scary movies. And I am getting so jumpy now.
You feel that these ones are getting a bit more scary as they go along then?
Yeah, I'd say so. You eased me in gently.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So the film that we're going to be reviewing is...
Halloween.
Very original title. Can't say it's not a Halloween movie. You don't have one of the movies that's called Christmas, do you?
No, you just have the Christmas Miracle or something like that.
Yeah, but not just like Christmas.
No, plain and simple. It's very clean cut how it plays out, really, and I think it's a very effective horror film for what it is and for the time when slashers was sort of like the genre was sort of starting out.
I think this is kind of my first encounter of a slashers film. I think really I'm not really one to be wanting to watch something like that. I think it helped that obviously it did have a Christmas element to it with the lady from Christmas and the Cranks.
So bit of a stretch, yeah.
That was the only kind of thing that I was like interested to see, like a young version of her.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I didn't twig until she actually spoke. I think it was a voice, but don't you think she looks a little bit old still? Like she's young but old looking.
I guess so. Yeah, maybe she's just always been come across that way.
Yeah, it's really weird. She looks youthful, but still looks somewhat familiar to what she looked like in Christmas and the Cranks. It was really bizarre.
I don't know if that's
no, it's not. It's a backhand compliment. So we start off with this kind of Halloween, obviously, night where people are dressed up and there's a couple kind of in the house, and basically you can see that somebody's peeking.
It's point of view shot of somebody like peering in.
Yeah,
what's going on.
They do a lot of that in this movie where you feel like you're being stared at
from the perspective
of the camera, so to speak, what the camera person's view is.
Yeah, that's what's called first person.
So, however, you're not knowing who is at this point staring, and I thought it was like already an adult man.
Yeah,
it made it a little bit more disturbing to find out that in the end the person who killed this woman was like a 6-year-old child.
Yeah, the brother, young Michael Myers, basically killed his sister.
Oh, is that what it was? I didn't gather that. I didn't actually realise. I know his mum and dad told him off, but I didn't realise it was his own sister he'd killed.
That's what makes it even more shocking, because he's kind of like looking at his sister and the boyfriend fooling around, and then I guess this is something to do with that. It's like, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that kind of thing, and it's...
Right, that makes it even more a little bit sick and twisted. I just thought it was a random woman who was peeking on, and then his parents had caught him, like they'd gone to a house or something trick-or-treating.
Right. No, it's not the case. It's literally murdering his own sister.
God, he's a freak. So he gets, obviously, his parents snitch on him and obviously take him to the police or something.
Yeah, although when they first obviously reveal that it's the young child and everything, and they kind of like stand there a bit like, oh, Michael, what have you done this time? They weren't like very shocked.
Like if that were my child, I'd be
got a knife in your hand, or like, like, oh my God, what have you done?
Wouldn't you be backing away from it? You'd be like, what the hell? You're like 6-year-old little demon or something. Creeped you out even more that it was a little child. Like, obviously,
yeah, it makes it more disturbing.
What could have screwed him up?
Yeah,
for the 6 years that he's lived, like, what could make him want to do that? Or was he born that way? Normally they're not. Normally you're not born bad. Nobody is.
No.
So it's like, so what has happened in those 6 little years that he's lived to make him absolutely wacko?
Yeah. Never really established.
No, I think that's the thing that kind of does frustrate me throughout.
Wanting to know why.
I want to understand
yeah,
him,
the
and
psyche behind it. Yeah,
like with the Joker, like when we watched that, you know, the new release last year.
Yeah.
I sympathised with the Joker because I could understand why.
Yeah, Will beating him down kind of thing. And
yeah, so it's like if you understand why the hardship and what they've gone through, you can kind of somewhat then get to a relating side. Whereas I could not relate to why the hell he was doing this. I just thought he wasn't human in the end. They kept on saying that as well, didn't they?
Yeah, this doctor kept saying that basically his black eyes and there's no human behind those eyes kind of thing, and it's just like the devil.
Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway.
So obviously escaped from prison 15 years ago. So you did the maths, didn't you? He's like,
yeah, so it'd be like 23, I think it is, years old.
Still quite young. Obviously, when I was 23, I think I was just trying to get a job or something like that. You know, I hadn't killed anybody. I was just trying to grow my career. You know, you just come out of university or something like that, and you're trying to get on the little stepping ladder to get to life. Whereas this guy's, God knows what
15 years in prison, not spoken a word to anybody.
What education he's had, if any.
Which does make it interesting when the fact that obviously he breaks out and he managed to drive away in the car. But as it later comes into play, where obviously kind of like jokingly says the doctor guy said when like, oh, you did very well driving away last night and escaping. It's like, well, somebody must maybe just taught him how to do it or something. Yeah. Because there's no other way he would have been able to pick that sort of skills
Unless he's quite intelligent, or is one of those things of watching.
Yeah, if you can get that sort of like, you be good in some aspects, even if you are a bit loose screwed in some of that, you can be quite intelligent in other aspects. So maybe that's
yeah. I think there is a lot of creepy kind of angles when they're kind of doing the knife action.
Do you maybe like the very first one where he's looking through the mask as a child and then
yeah. So there's a lot of kind of angles, and the way that they're doing it is quite hidden from the person. You kind of are that person killing.
Yeah, exactly. In that instance.
Yeah. But I do think it's somewhat oddly light-hearted as well. I know that sounds really strange for me to say, but it's a bit unrealistic the way that it's been portrayed. I don't really feel like they're being slaughtered, I guess.
You mean it's more like a slow, like, oh no, stop kind of thing?
Yeah, and it looks like
oh my god, like.
Yeah, it's not like
not rapid succession. No.
I think as well it's obviously it feels like it's a rubber knife or something like that, like the way that they're like lifting it up, and it looks like it's like a thud, like dum. And it's not like a slash.
Yeah, not like a like swipe.
Yeah, and you can hear like the skin and then the blood kind of thing. You don't really.
Yeah. Do you think it's like, for example, with like Psycho, you know, with the shower scene and stuff? Do you think that felt more genuine in that sense?
Yeah. Okay. 100%. And it's like the blood and the actual ripping of the skin. I guess that's the bit that kind of.
Well, it's using sharp cuts, isn't it, to get that effect going?
But it's just, it didn't seem, and the people didn't seem that petrified either. They were just like, oh,
right.
And it felt more slow motion with this one. Like they were kind of screaming, but it was, I don't know, it just didn't feel realistic. Okay. It didn't feel scary, like they were actually being hurt. Yeah. I don't know if it was just the acting wasn't on point, like it was just a bit like weak in that sense.
Potentially, yeah.
And a bit like if you were being stabbed, and I don't think you'd react that way. Like you wouldn't be like, I'd be screaming a lot louder than that, to be fair. If somebody were coming at me with a knife and stabbed me once and then was going to stab me again, I wouldn't just be flumbling around. Yeah. So obviously he's escaped and he's going back to his hometown to obviously cause havoc again. The only thing that I think's really creepy is his mask and the breathing. Now that's the bit that gets me more frightened than the actual murders.
No, I definitely agree with that. It's definitely a bit more terrifying, the fact that it's kind of that heavy breathing, and obviously the angles where you can just kind of see him just out of shot almost in the corner of the frame, just staring and looking down. That's the bit that freaks me out. Yeah. Like, I always hate the thought of being like stalked or followed, and that's kind of what you get, is the sense of being followed. Yeah. But then the Darth Vader breathing is just petrifying. It's like if you woke up to that, like someone like, kind of, I just looming over you. Yeah, no, horrible. I think that's the bit
where I didn't like it and I felt more uncomfortable. Actually, the killing, I kind of chuckled a little.
I guess it's sort of maybe less is more, really, that makes them
Yeah,
more effective.
I think so. Like the killing, the way that he did it, it was humorized a little bit with the
Yeah.
way that he killed people
Yeah.
and
There's not much in
blood.
terms of blood anyway,
No,
in terms of that anyway, which is kind of surprising considering the rating that it is, 18.
is it 18? It don't
But
feel like an 18, but maybe that's because of the age of it.
yeah, at the time, probably by today's standards, probably be classed as 15 really. But
It didn't frighten me that much, apart from the breathing.
and you had the musical, the
Yeah,
very simple
but it
thing that
was
kind of
more when
plays
he
out.
appeared, and it was more the jump scares where you knew there was something gonna jump out at you, you just didn't know exactly when.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like bracing myself for those kind of
Yeah,
like I'm
and then
aware.
those loud like noises
Mm,
that the musical stings. Yeah,
yeah, so it was very much heavily played, but the actual then killings, yeah, it was more him jumping out at me to kill me
yeah,
or breathing near me
yeah.
than the actual act itself. So you do have quite a good character background. Obviously, you've got your main lady, what did you call her? She doesn't die, does she?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, she's the final girl, as what kind of like terms of the slasher genre tropes
I
in
didn't know
horror.
what this meant. You
Yeah,
said this to me, and I'm looking at you like, what does it mean?
means there's normally like there's a final girl, meaning there's usually somebody who's left at the very end. The killer has systematically gone through the cast, the other characters that
Picked
have
him
been
off.
involved, picked them off one by one, and then there's normally somebody left, usually the final girl, to sort of emphasize the whole thing. Like if the female lead or whoever is smart enough to outwit the killer and to survive, basically, and kind of get past that. He's not all about the brute force and
Yeah.
that's involved with this, what he's done to all the previous people, and she's either
Um,
just survived by pure luck or just
she's a bit
maybe
more
smart enough.
savvy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think actually in this case she's a bit more savvy, and as well she's got a bit of more of an ulterior motive that she's got two little children that she's looking after as well. It's
yeah.
not
It's
just
more like
herself.
mothering instincts in the sense of look after the kids,
Yeah.
and she's more of a bookworm as a friends, I'd say, in quotation marks,
Mm.
are always pointing out, oh, you're always reading, you're always studying and stuff, and that's
Oof.
why she comes out the winner in a sense at the
Yeah.
end, not ending up being knocked off. But whereas the other ones are all, but certainly one of them is certainly more about getting down dirty as opposed to doing studies and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Both of them are really. They're
Really.
both jumping the friends with like, oh look, I'm meant to be babysitting. You look after because I want to go meet my boyfriend now. The other one obviously was just with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
The priorities were kind of not in the right head.
And that's another thing that happens in these sort of slasher films as well. That like if you have sex, then you automatically end up dead, because that's just how it plays out with.
Why?
It's because you shouldn't be doing that, and it's kind of like it seems sinful, so therefore
Kill.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another trope, these slashers.
I do think though that I kind of wrote down, oh, a friend got killed, but she deserved it because she wasn't a nice character to begin with.
No, they're not very friendly to her as friends, are they? So.
No, they weren't really genuine friends, and they always caused her trouble. And it's like when she was shouting at that guy, and it's like, well, you shouldn't be really doing that because you don't really know what temperament people are, and you could be causing havoc. Yeah, okay, you've got away with it for God knows how long, but you picked the wrong person this time, and then and it's backfired on you because he was like stalking her.
Yeah,
I thought he actually didn't know if there was going to be like a bit of he fancied the final lady or something.
Laurie.
Yeah, I didn't know if he that might have happened where he was kind of from afar. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to romanticize it a little bit in my head, hoping that something nice might have come out of this film.
You were so wrong there. No, I think it's just because she was taking a key over to
his house,
the Myers' house.
Yeah,
and I think it's kind of like, oh, right, what are you doing there, kind of thing. I think that's just more the
curiosity.
Just because you're in the vicinity of being in close proximity to me, then it's kind of like, all right, for some reason I'm just going to follow you and
attack you and attack your friends, and
that I get on a more stance,
Yeah, I think it's obviously he's thinking at the moment there's 3 of them.
Yeah,
I'll bide my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can get a bit more fun out of this if I wait. And I
don't
think
think he's really thinking of it as a fun thing. I think it's just all in his right, just because, really.
he must get some
behind
pleasure behind it. Because why would somebody do that? If you didn't enjoy doing it, you wouldn't do it, would you?
Just a monster, isn't it? It's just I don't think there's anything really behind it all. It's just the sense of the kill, really.
Maybe.
Because I don't think it's anything to do with them, killing for sort of like be the world famous serial killer or anything
but
like that.
I think he enjoys killing. It
to an extent, yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's like, it's not like he doesn't, because why would he, like, it's like somebody eating meat that doesn't eat meat.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just as simple as that. Obviously he's a murderer and he just have murdering instincts and he enjoys doing it, because he wouldn't do it otherwise, would he?
No.
So I think kind of coming towards the final scene is where it gets a little bit more like nail biting, so to speak. Obviously you've got your final girl, which I learned about. She thinks her friends are just playing tricks on her, because obviously all her friends have been picked off now.
Yeah, the blonde one with the boyfriend is a bit annoying as well. She kept saying totally, like every 2 minutes, like every sentence.
Yeah, she deserved that.
Yeah, she's just irritating. I can't believe I noticed how many times she actually said it.
I could play a game.
Yeah, drinking game. Every time she said
it. And she was one of those like bimbo airheads.
Yeah,
she didn't have anything about it to be able to defend herself. I don't really know why main lady, Christmas in the Cranks, was their friend. I don't really, I can't see actually that being I can't see that.
But she finds them all dead in the same house, and she pretty much the tombstone of Michael Myers' mother's gravestone on the bed, and the friends on there lying there, and then the other two are in the sort of like the cupboards.
Yeah, it's quite. I think that's quite comical the way it's done, as well. Like, it's not like the way that the door opens and then she's like, and then this other bit kind of flings out. So it kind of is comically kind of portrayed, even though it shouldn't be.
It's not meant to come across that way, no.
I find it quite funny. I know that sounds daft. It doesn't actually scare me. It's just a bit of comical.
Yeah, I think if you were actually in that position, you'd probably have a different say.
Probably. I think it's just like it's artistically displaying the deaths. That's how I see it, I guess. And obviously then you've got this kind of battle between this girl trying to now defeat this man. So she obviously, she's clever and she runs out of the house initially and she's shouting for help, and nobody's going to help her.
For some reason they just...
Oh, to be fair, would you? Like, if literally somebody came screaming down the house saying help, help, I don't think I'd go outside. I know that sounds horrible. I'd be like, God, what's going after her? And it'd be like, I'd be struggling to think, is she genuine? Does she need help? Or is she the murderer? And all this...
Yeah, I guess, but...
would be going, I'd be like, Paul, you're not letting her in. And she's whatever. It's her own fault. I'd be like, no, not meddling with that. Leave them to it.
And again, I don't think you'd be saying the same thing if that was you being chased by. I think you'd be screaming, please help me, somebody.
Oh, I would, probably. But
if she was on your other foot.
But would you let them in?
I think I'd give them the benefit of the doubt, especially if it's someone who looks fairly vulnerable, and if it was more like a dodgy suspect looking character at the door, maybe I'd think probably not. But
I don't know. I think I'd
hysterically she was like, please help me, come on, thing, rather not like, oh please come, then I'd be more thinking, well, that's probably...
But she could have gone back to the other house, which was only across the road, if she'd have stopped prattling around so much, banging on this other door.
Well, she'd do it after that.
Yeah, but literally she could have...
But she's thinking, please the neighbours will help, and they're kind of like, nah, forget that.
Yeah, which I probably would be the same. I know it sounds horrible, but you don't want other people's grief at your door, do you really? Like that hassle. So obviously then she goes back to the house, tries to protect the little children, but obviously there's a window or a door open.
Quite a common occurrence in the film, isn't it? They don't seem to lock the doors or the windows, are just walk in, like an RPG or something.
Like, nope, that's not happening. Made me learn to lock your doors is a thing that I think I got from this film, was like, just shut your doors and your windows and you'll be right. Especially now being at home and more prominently being in, it felt more real, like this could happen. This psycho man could just walk the street and just walk into your house and kill you. That's the bit that scared me because it was all centered in somebody's home. So it's more realistic, isn't it? Whereas if it's just out in a woods or something like that, or like in a desert, it's like, well, I won't go to the woods at night, so that won't happen to me. I won't be wherever, so it's not going to exist. So you can kind of, in my head, make it not feel as realistic. Where it's like, well, crap, I live here, unless I'm not going to be that stupid though to leave my door unlocked.
Nobody should really be doing.
No. So then he climbs through the window, and because she likes knitting, she's got a knitting needle. So she thinks this is pathetic. This part is like, are you really messing with me that you think you've killed him? So she stabs him with a knitting needle in the side of his
neck. Yeah, and then just falls down.
And she's like, oh, it's okay, he's died. And he drops the knife, and this bit gets me. It gets me go, this does, it really does. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Stab him, because he's after you, and he's killed your friends. He deserves to die. Don't just go, oh, there's a knife there, just chuck it somewhere else. Take the knife with you. That's what I'd have done.
No, I agree with you on that. I do think, especially as I've seen other ones further down lines, like other films, and it's like, yeah, you think you should know, if you think you've killed, just break the neck or just slit the throat or something, so that they're definitely dead.
Yeah.
And then they just go, jump up and get you again. But no, yeah, she's kind of like, almost like, and
it's like, it's fine, and it's like, she sat there chilling while he's behind her, like, pretending to be dead, and it's like, well, I'd either have done that and ran away with the knife in my hand, or I'd have stabbed him if I could. Maybe she couldn't have plucked the courage up to do that, but at least run out of the house. I'd have even locked him in the house. But she sat there for a good while instead, and it's like, you could have utilised your time so much better.
Yeah.
And there's another scene where she does it again, where she thinks she's killed him.
Yeah, that's when she runs upstairs and in the closet, and then stabs him with like a
coat hanger
in the eye and stuff. And
it's like, he's still not dead, love. It's okay, I've killed him. No, because you just, yet again, chucked the knife away. And I'm like, are you stupid? Are you really? This is getting to me now. Because it's like, she's meant to be this amazing final girl. And it's like, well, she's that final. Get the knife and kill him. So obviously, the two kids run out for help at this point, because he's obviously alive yet again.
So then the doctor, who's obviously been taking care of him and knows pretty much him inside out and scouting around.
Yeah, he wants him dead anyways.
Or, yeah, at least put away again. So he's obviously been scouring this entire neighbourhood with, like, no dice with that, like, trying to find it, and then something's like, right, okay, this looks a bit obvious that this is where he's probably is now. And so the doctor is the one who's able to obviously apprehend him at this point and shoot him down, which again you might know, looks a bit stupid. He's going like moving back, like ooh.
Yeah, it looks a bit
thing, and then he falls out the window and onto the height onto the lawn. And
then this is the bit where they check in to see if the girl's okay. It's like, no, still be shooting him out of the bloody window.
Empty clip.
Yeah. And I'm like, it just makes me shudder. He does, like the whole masked man character is like,
Michael Myers.
Yeah. Is that his actual child's name?
Yeah. It's not like a thing with like Scream mask or anything. No, ghost face as it's called in Scream. But yeah.
And it just creeps me out a little bit. It just gives me shudders.
The way he is his image is the most scary part of him.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's quite a hulking.
And then you get to see his face a little bit.
Just before he gets just being shot. Yeah.
And he's not ugly, but he's not. He's a bit like a Hunchback Notre Dame kind of look, I feel, a little bit.
In a way, yeah. He's not too hideously grotesque or anything, but I think he's just a bit messed up from,
So he drops out of this window, and this is the bit that gets me, and it's the ending, and then the music.
Yeah.
And then it's like...
look away, and he's not there anymore, and then the music plays out, and it's like...
And it's like, well, where is he? Where's he gone? He should be dead. Why is he not dead?
Yeah.
Like, he's been shot, like, at least 4 times. Why is he not dead?
And it's almost like our doctor doesn't, like, say to Laurie, like, he's dead. I think he's still looking out the window at this point or whatever, like, or where's he gone kind of thing. But then she's, like, still, like, crying in, like, shock for it all. So it's almost like she's kind of, even though it's not been said, it's kind of like crying because she's like, oh, God, he's still out there. He's still not died and thing. And then it's, cut into the scenes of the crime and stuff all through the streets, and it's that breathing.
No, it's the breathing.
As if like, are we still out there somewhere? And yeah.
It's the breathing, and I know I got a little bit on edge, didn't I? Because obviously it's the breathing heavily, and it's the frightening thing of thinking somebody's coming into your house and just randomly being there. That frightens me. I don't think it's quite predictable. You knew who were going to get picked off, and it's not too intense. Like with the storyline, you kind of is like quite an easygoing story-ish line.
Tight, hour and a half, near enough. Things. So it tells you all you need to know for the characters and developing them and everything within that time, and it goes smoothly. It breezes by for me. I've just seen it quite a few times now and still enjoy it.
I don't know if it did for me, because I do know I did ask you. I think we were coming towards the end, and I wanted to know now how long I'd got left, because it was like not in like that I wanted it to be finished, but I knew it was going to come to the bit where like the final battle between her and him, and I didn't know what to anticipate, I guess. So I was thinking how much are they going to cram into this like space that they've got at the end, and how is it going to end? So I needed to know how long it was to kind of fathom out how in depth was this kind of going to go.
Right.
It wasn't too bad though. It kind of did go quite quickly at the end. I think it was quite easy going at the beginning though, because you're kind of getting to know the characters. He pops up now and again, but it's at the end where you know it's going to be like more in depth of intense, that. Yeah. I think that's everything. Would I watch it again? No.
Just hard no.
No.
Not interested in any of the sequels.
Well, there's some more.
Oh, Sophie, there's plenty more sequels.
What, the same man killing people?
Yes, told in different ways, and some of them some of them I haven't even seen, but I know that they're just
why have they done so many?
Infamously terrible, because they just like to capitalise on a single character, don't they? They're thinking, right, let's just keep making sequel after sequel after sequel.
So is he not dead?
No, there's different reincarnations of him going throughout the film series. There's been one, was it like a couple of years ago now, where it's sort of like like so many years after, and it's still the same character. Laurie is back, and she's obviously a lot older now, and she's been sort of like
scarred.
Well, yeah, she's very much scarred, and sort of like staking out, like waiting for him to return back to this thing, and then obviously he's older as well, and it's kind of like it's almost like a final showdown with him. And
does he die?
Oh God, I honestly can't remember.
I'd only watch it if he died.
I honestly can't remember what the ending that is really. I wasn't best impressed. Let me say, I thought it was going to be something really good, because it's like he's got some sort of the same cast and everything, but it was just a bit. I didn't feel anything towards it really.
I think it's one of those where you can kind of ruin it if you do so many of it. You need to just leave it. It was good to leave it as it is. Which
is why I think this is as a standalone. It works, because it's kind of like the mystery of like, where's he gone? And then next, he's out in the world somewhere, open-ended, and that's all you really need. But anyway.
But I don't know why I don't want to watch it again. I think it was more him as a person. I think and I think as well it annoyed me a little bit that I couldn't understand why. Like, I'd love to, if there was one to explain to me why.
I think they probably would, but then I guess that kind of maybe potentially ruins it. I've no real desire to try and like sit through other ones of retellings of why he is how he is. I feel like that's kind of like, I don't really need to know that information. It's kind of like,
I think I kind of then could understand him, whereas at the moment I think he scares me. So it's like, so if I understand him, he might not scare me as much.
Right, but I think he'd still be a scary character regardless of whether he's, he might have just dropped on his head as a kid or something. I don't know.
That's no excuse.
I don't know.
But I think it doesn't help when we're having to wear masks now as well. So it's like, if people are breathing funny in masks, then I'm going to be freaked out now in Asda or something like that. But I think I'm enjoying the Halloween experience. I'm enjoying watching the movies. You're really enjoying me being scared. I get really, really naffed off because you're not scared, because you know what's coming. And then I look pathetic.
Doesn't mean I'm not scared by as a whole, not like generally jump scared, but like things still freak me out and all that.
Does it kind of make you feel a bit like
goosebumps?
Yeah.
I do. I mean, it's still an intimidating character, and that's
Does it
what I
make you feel
really
a bit
like.
shuddery? Like
A little bit, yeah, because it's just how his cold stare, literally
mm,
through a mask of which almost is like black holes of darkness that you
but
can't even see eyes in them.
but it
It's
looks like
that's
he's still
soulless.
staring
Yeah,
at you.
exactly. Yeah.
Like that's the thing, it's the
But
stare. Like even like in The Woman in Black, it was still that her stare. And I think that's the bit that creeps me out the most out of it all, is the stares. So it is getting a bit worse. At least there weren't any ghosts in this one. So I was happy about that.
right.
Because that I feel like I could maybe tackle a human.
Yeah, he's still human at the end of the day,
Yeah.
but
So yeah, okay, he didn't die, but he should be able to die.
yeah.
There should be
But
something
does
if
that not make it potentially more scary because it's a living thing that this could occur essentially?
no,
Because you
because at
mean
least I could kill him.
right? Okay.
I'd make sure he were dead. I
Unlike
wouldn't just
Laurie.
go, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would make sure he was dead. So at least I know he can die. Whereas, like, what if a ghost were coming after you? How do you kill a ghost? It's already dead. Do you get me?
I guess so. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, it's not as real, but
Mm.
at least I have a fighting chance at killing this other person as they do me.
Mm-hmm.
But a ghost, you can't kill a ghost, can you? If you know how to kill a ghost, please tell me. Unless you're like Luigi.
Oh, Ghostbusters, yeah. As you
Yeah.
said, yeah. Right, so go to the scoring then.
I don't think I'd watch it again. I
Okay.
wouldn't recommend it. I think the acting was a little bit weak. I don't know if I think I just don't really enjoy this genre of the slasher. I don't know. I think I've watched one other one ages ago. I saw a little bit of it. I haven't watched it all the way through. And it had that girl that's a bit... She's blonde haired and she's a dippy actress. And I don't really like her.
Are you talking about Scary Movie?
Yes.
Which is a spoof on the whole horror genre anyway.
I'm looking at you really blank, like, what do you mean? Spoof on, so it's not a scary movie at all?
No, it's that stupid set of comedy things that you seem to hate anyway.
I did hate it.
Yeah, I can imagine you would have done. But it's a absolute joke on the tropes of the horror genre and that thing anyway, so it's not even really, it's not really supposed to be scary at all, because it's kind of like, oh my god, I'm a stupid blonde bimbo.
But that's kind of what I felt like from this a little
but
bit.
it's going up to like
Stupidity.
tenfold on the stupidity level, so yeah.
Yeah,
so
this felt a little bit like that. I think just the acting wasn't on point of being actually genuinely frightened, I think. So that kind of, your main character who didn't speak, he didn't speak a word.
No, as you said, he's totally silent.
Is brilliant, really, to say he doesn't speak a word. Actually, he seems to be the best actor out of them all, and kind of gets you.
Well, it's all down to acting in with your body, basically, to get it across as being a dangerous killer.
100%, and he did get away with that. I did actually enjoy previous films that we've watched that have been scarier than this one. I'd probably give it a 6, I think. Have I really upset you?
That's a bit harsh.
Do you think? I prefer...
But it's your score at the end of the day, I guess.
You saw your face, you were like, draw, why? I just didn't really enjoy it.
Was that more just because of it being, you just didn't like him as a character, or I think it was just overall it was just not an enjoyable experience?
I think overall it was a little bit weak.
Right.
It wasn't not enjoyable, but I did wonder when it was going to end, and I think it was a bit predictable with the killings, and the killings weren't that... I don't know why I'm wanting it more realistic when it would have scared me, but it just didn't seem that genuine. And I think I didn't really like him as a character, but I didn't really care for any other ones, really. You didn't get much of a background on people to kind of have a value. And I think, like I said, for me, I'd preferred to have understood him a little bit better.
Yeah, you were working with a very small amount of cast, which is what I like, really. You don't want too many people in the mix of like, oh, remembering this character's name and all that kind of stuff.
I think it worked well, but I think more just the development on their characters a little bit.
Right, okay.
It just seemed a little bit like a teenage kind of movie, but then you had a murderer involved, I felt.
I don't. Yeah, I certainly don't agree on the 6 out of 10 on that one, I'm afraid.
Okay. What's your score? 10?
No, it's not that high.
7?
No, it's teetering on 8.5 to 9.
It's a bit generous. Go on then, so what makes it score that highly?
It's one of those things I just like watching every Halloween season, really.
You'll be watching it on your own next year.
There's the whole mythos behind him as a character being just the soulless monster that he is, and just a very intimidating character within the genre. Is very obviously iconic in his presence, of just his screen presence. The music is also very much, obviously something's going to happen when that starts playing, little musical stings and everything, and it's just gets under your skin a little with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The way it seems that, like I said, with the limited amount of people that you had with it, almost feels like the whole streets are empty almost, and that kind of makes it a bit more chilling because it's obviously not hustle bustling of the city or anything like that, or like a big neighborhoods with loads of people like thing. You kind of felt quite isolated in the whole thing, which kind of comes across as quite a scary factor, because like when she's knocking on doors and it's almost like she's tried one house and then I'll go back to the house, because it's like not many trick or treaters actually out, despite being Halloween night that you see. Really, you only see a couple of instances where that happens, and you kind of feel that sense, that loneliness that's
I can see where you're coming from. I think you prefer the character, you like the monster, and I kind of want him to become a bit of a King Kong, where he's like falls in love with the main lady, and you can kind of see and understand him. And
but,
I don't get that.
I don't feel the need to know why he's. I just take it as face value that he's just a messed up child, and that's how he's been born, and that's how the psyche is of him, and it's kind of that. I think it's very effective with the. It plays out with the whole. It's in a costume, like almost a jumpsuit thing, like he does later on, and he picks up the mask, and then that's how he later on gets the mask as well. That kind of plays alright. Is this thing that's hidden behind a mask to hide his true identity, and I think it's just really effective.
And I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think he just made me feel unnervy as well, so I think that's.
Don't get me wrong, because that does come across, like I say, like when he's standing just staring at you from the side of the screen.
I'm guessing you like that, and I just don't.
No. That's what draws it as an effective.
I don't like being scared.
No, I do.
You're weird. Why would you want to be scared?
There's something about it. I don't know, really. And a lot of people will agree with me on that.
No.
That's one of my favourite horror films.
I'm so sorry I've marked it down low. I just didn't.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the next one we do is going to be a lot more.
There's a bit of a pressure on this, isn't there?
Yeah. We won't reveal that one just yet until next time, but giving you a sort of heads up on it anyway. But
can I just give you a little bit of background of what I would want? I kind of enjoyed the Woman in Black the most so far.
Okay.
So I want a little bit of content. I want a little bit of understanding.
Okay, well, I think you'll definitely get it with this one.
I want a little bit of a scare.
Yep.
A little bit realistic, so not like too dramatic. Like if somebody gets killed, I want it to look a little bit more genuine than like fake screaming and blood, like not even ketchup or something, squirting out of them.
Okay.
I kind of want a high-end, scary-ish movie that kind of gives me the fright, the realism, and the understanding of why this is happening. If I'm left not knowing why, I think I'd get a little bit miffed, and I want to know why. If it freaks me out, then that's fine. I didn't mark Woman in Black down, even though it scared me, because I understood the concept of the film.
Okay.
So if I get that, then I'll be okay. Whereas this was like just a pointless murderer man that went round.
Right.
That's like literally, if you asked me what the caption was, it would be like, oh, man with mask murders people. That's it, really, isn't it? That's literally your story.
I think most of the things you said do sort of tick the boxes.
Well, hopefully we might get a 10.
Degree, but here's hoping.
No pressure, Sophs.
One final thing, just to round things off, before we say our goodbyes and all that. We did check out for all of 5 minutes.
It was the worst 5 minutes.
Hubie Halloween, I think that's how you say it, but...
Why did Paul even think it'd be a good idea? But I was like, nope. I've seen just the fact that Adam Sandler's in it. No.
Just a little bit curious to think, but even I was like, no, it's like projectile vomiting and it's like, no, just no.
And then there's the other guy, what's his name out of the Nightmare?
Ben Stiller.
Like anything with them in, it's like, why is it so crap? It's like, how have they got so much money making crap?
I don't know, they just do, don't
and
they?
Who watches this crap? Because it's your fault that this is out. And it's like, why is it there? It shouldn't even be a thing. Like, this man can't act, he's not funny, and he talks funny.
Yeah, he puts on these stupid voices.
It annoys me when he talks like that. It really, really winds me up. It's like, you're not normal. Nobody talks like that. Just talk proper.
Yeah.
And
I guess it kind of annoys you that Julie Bowen.
Oh.
Claire from Modern Family was in it.
Yeah, I like Claire.
And you're like, why are you in this, Claire?
Yeah, why are you downgrading yourself? You better than this.
Although she was in a thing with him in Happy Gilmore, so...
I didn't realise.
Yeah.
Because obviously I didn't know Claire from Modern Family at this point.
Yeah.
I've given her a little bit more of a credibility of an actress, really, to not lower her standards to being in a Adam Sandler film.
So thank you very much for listening to this episode, and you can check all our other episodes out on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you might get your podcasts from. And of course, you can follow us on the social media platforms of Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, under the handle SP Film Viewers.
So thank you so much for listening to me whine. I know you probably love hearing me go on about films, and I hope you've enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you do like a pointless scare and a little bit of rubbish acting,
really selling this. It's classic.
Then go ahead and go and watch it. Definitely don't watch it if you've got children.
Well,
Might give them ideas.
Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto and stuff doesn't already give that, and Call of Duty and stuff.
Yeah, but at least you're an adult in that. You're not a 6-year-old child killing somebody. No. Starting them young. Anyways, thank you so much, and I hope that you have a good Halloween when you do get there.
Yep, we're very close to the end of the month now. So.
Thank God.
So thank you once again, and we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.